All right, down here at the bottom left, our Terran player looked a little upset after his defeat, but could make something happen here in Game 3. Will he do it? He's a member of the Team Slayers. Will he slay jookTo? He is. His opponent, the bottom right side of the map, a strong Zerg player, someone who's been impressing me lately. He is OGS jookTo. Now remember, he's on the team OGS, which has a lot of good Zerg players. Notably, the Wind is on OGS, and the Wind isn't a good Zerg player. He's a coach, and he played a lot, and he's got a lot of good mindset. So to have the Wind come in there, a former Starcraft 1 player, Starcraft 2 player, and a good friend, a coach, and also a Zerg player to come in there and tell you, all right, you did well, let me just give you some thoughts and stuff before your game where you're about to play against a Terran is awesome to have. So jookTo, I'm sure he's got to be feeling pumped, and I didn't really see Sela talking to Ryung there. Ryung looked a little upset, so I'm thinking his mentality is not going to be the same as jookTo's, and that may come back to hurt him here. Now remember, there's a backdoor expansion on Crevasse, so we may see that backdoor expansion taken. It looks like that is going to be the case for jookTo. Pretty quick gas coming out for Ryung, so it looks like he wants to tech up, do a tech build before expanding, which is a little bit unusual on this map. Not, it's not something you never see, because sometimes when you do it, it can be quite successful. The ramp is very wide open. If you can break that ramp down, eventually, you can break it down. It's not going to stay up forever. The Hellions have a lot of free reign to run in there. There's a foreign player named Karn that you guys know. He streams sometimes. He's gotten a lot better recently, and he actually likes to mech on this map as well whenever he plays on it, because he says, well, it's the last thing they'll expect, and he does quite well with it. I don't think this map really caters itself to mech play, but if you do it well, and you know what you're doing, and your opponent doesn't really expect it, it can work out quite well for you. So it looks like Ryung wants to get another Scouting Reaper out, making that tech lab. Kind of curious to see what he's going to follow this up with. He may try to go for Reactor Hellions again. This map is very wide open, and as I've said so many times, map control is so important. On this map, there are 4 Xel'Naga Watchtowers in the middle of the map. If you control all 4 Xel'Naga Watchtowers, that means basically almost nothing can escape your eyes. You know exactly when your opponent's moving out, where he's moving out, what he's moving out with. So those are very important. So he's going to start off with this Reaper. I like this. Going to make a command center behind it as well. Since he's got the wall off, he can just make a factory. He can tech and expand at the same time on this map. And again, he's just going to be aggressive here with his first Marine, even bringing in SCV. He may try to target down this Overlord. I think he might want to get out of there, though. 4 Zerglings are on the way. They're going to pop out and end that Marines party. I think he just wants to see what his opponent's up to, kind of get a little bit of scouting with that, put on a little pressure if he can. The Zerglings are out. He may want to get the Zerglings far away from the creep and then kill them with the Reaper. Second barracks being made and a third barracks. So it looks like he wants to put on some pressure with some barracks units. Go for some bio early on. He's got a lot of gas stacked up. He did get that very quick gas after getting the Reaper. So I think he's probably going to get fast in. But here comes the Reaper now. And that Reaper's got to get out of there. Wasn't really able to get any kills. Saw the expansion. Not a whole lot of scouting information really for him either. Now, if Ryung tries to be aggressive with these 3 barracks, get a very fast stim, well, he's getting combat shields first. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about that. If you get the combat shields first... Oh, he made 2 Reapers. That's pretty cool. Chase that drone down. Drone may have been trying to make a hidden expansion. And if he actually makes the hatchery, he'll survive, at least for a little while. But if the Reaper gets him first, he will not. He's trying to make an extractor to keep it alive, and he was just like, not worth it. Sorry, drone. So combat shields coming out here first. He doesn't have that many Marines, and normally you see combat shields before stim. If you've been building Marines for a while, you kind of get that Marine count up. You got a lot of Marines out. Just want to make sure they have a lot more hit points. You do something with those. The fast combat shields, though, a little bit weird, a little bit funky. That SCV does go down. So now jookTo has control of that very important Xel'Naga Watchtower. There are Reapers out, of course, at the other Xel'Naga Watchtower. But with Zergling speed finishing, he might be able to take control of that if he controls his Zerglings properly. Having those Xel'Naga Watchtowers is very important. Obviously, Ryung can see every time those Zerglings move up because he has that Xel'Naga Watchtower. Now, Stim is being researched here immediately. No Marauders being added to this force. He's going pure Marine. And this is why jookTo likes to get that pretty quick Baneling Nest. He's getting a Roach Warren as well. And I think that's because he expects a Hellion follow-up to this, so he just wants to have that in case. But I like this move by Ryung. He's going to move out here on the map. He's got enough Marines where he can deal with these, and the combat shield is going to help out as well. If you want to control the Zelnaga watchtowers, the combat shields come in handy, because if your opponent can't get a good surround on your Marines, and those Marines have 10 more hit points than they did originally, you can do a pretty good job of cleaning up those Zerglings, taking control of the towers and stuff. Doing a job that a Hellion does, except with Marines. And those Zerglings ran into the wrong spot. And he was actually going to use these Reapers with his army. I like this. Stim is only a third of the way done, so he's not going to have that Stim in time to really use that. But basically what Ryung is doing here is saying, okay, you're not taking a third base right now. I'm not going to let you. You can't do it. Overlord drops being researched, by the way, back at jookTo's base. I wonder what he's going to do with those. Probably plans to do, you know, a little bit of harassment, dropping roaches on his opponent. If he can. He's got that roach warm-up. He's getting roach speed, so he definitely wants to use those roaches long-term. I think he's probably going to try to do some roach drops, which can be quite effective on this map. Looks like those rocks will fall. Zerglings skirting around, trying to take control of the watchtower, pick off any units that might be left behind at those watchtowers. And Zergling speed is going to finish. Overlord speed coming out here as well. It's about 2/3 of the way done. So Overlord speed and drops going to finish around the same time. Making a lot of banelings, so he may use some baneling drops as well. He's got a lot of different options. When you get that Overlord drop, you do a lot of cool things. Not just against Protosses, but against other races as well. Double drop here coming out for Ryung. Can he do a lot of damage? There are no mutas out, so remember, he can just retreat if things go badly, but he is going to try to get a lot of drones here. Drones will probably retreat, though. Looks like he's just going to get 2 drones. That one Reaper wanted to join the fight. Fortunately for him, not have much success doing that. He's going to pick up and leave. Loses just 1 Marine to 1 Baneling. Pretty good trade for Ryung. jookTo feels like he got ripped off. It's like when you guys got ripped off when you were playing Pokemon cards. I don't know if it happened to you guys, but in where I was growing up, basically Pokemon cards were banned from public schools in my state because of all the trading and the rip-offs that were going on. People were bringing them and selling them and stuff. Completely banned. Couldn't bring Pokemon cards to school. It was not allowed. Because Slayer's Ryung, man, he would rip you off. I bet Slayer's Ryung, when he had Pokemon cards in Korea, he would rip you off. Now I like this. There's a Viking to see this coming, and he's going to... that one Viking can try as he might, but he's not going to be able to kill all these Overlords in time. This is really interesting, and I think this could work very well. Here he comes, dropping roaches and Overlords on top of this wall. The Baneling's going to come in here as well. Look how many Banelings are sneaking in here. He even has more Banelings inside of those Overlords. But the Marine split was good for Ryung. He just was totally prepared for it, and that attack could have done a lot better if he wasn't prepared. Now he's going to try to drop some more roaches in here. Target down these Marines, maybe. Actually, he's going to target down some SCVs. Probably could kill those Marines and then kill the SCVs, but as it stands, he just wants to make sure he can get those SCVs down. Does kill a lot of them, and the roaches will fall here. Just with that medevac support, the Marines just do too much DPS. Now remember, guys, jookTo is still on 2 bases. That attack was basically shut down. He lost a few depots, lost a bunker. Didn't really lose any of his army. Didn't really lose that many SCVs. And he's got a 3rd command center back at his home. He's going to lift it up, take a 3rd base here pretty soon. And with no Spire out, at least as far as I can see, yeah, he doesn't have a Spire. With no Spire out for jookTo, he's kind of in trouble. He's going to be able to be under pressure by these drops just repeatedly. There's nothing you can do about a drop ship if you don't have mutas out. You skip mutas, do a strategy like this. It's really hard, and it's not like you can... a lot of you guys watching are probably like, well, I mean, he can just make a Spire and he'll be fine. Well, it takes a long time to build, and it's very expensive. With the economy he has right now, just on 2 bases after spending all that money on the upgrades for the Overlords and the dropships and the making new Overlords, you know, it's very, very difficult to support. Now, if you drop Marines 1 by 1 on top of roaches, though, that's one way you can shut down a drop, but he's not going to be able to shut this one down easily. And that was a little bit of a slow reaction. Now, here's the thing. I mean, even if he shuts these down, the dropships can just leave. Uh-oh. Sometimes dropships can leave, and sometimes they don't. Small victory there for jookTo, but the supplies right now, 115 for Ryung to just 91 for jookTo. And like I said, he could just keep dropping over and over and over again. He's going to drop, attack this hatchery a little bit, pick up and leave, and repeat the process. Actually, Ryung's sending a small force out into the middle of the map. Maybe he wants to just scan and kill some creep tumors with that squad. I think that's probably the purpose. It's like a SWAT team of creep killers. Backs away. And you know, these drops are being stopped. but it's keeping jookTo in his base, and jookTo has a pretty scary roach army. He's got a lot of banelings out as well. And I think Ryung, just what he wants to do with these drops is like, alright, I can keep doing this because you don't have mutas out, so I can keep my dropships alive. Hold that thought. There comes a baneling drop, and these SCVs, are they going to react? No, they're not. Oh, that could have been so good for jookTo, but that made me disappointed. This is a cool little attack, but nothing cool about losing about 8 banelings to 2 siege tank shots. Sound like in one of those smoking commercials you guys had to watch in elementary school. It's like, there's nothing cool about smoking. I know you guys in the US had to watch those kind of videos when you were in school. Well, there's definitely nothing cool about losing banelings to siege tanks. It's cool if, you know, you're like, all your friends are telling you, yeah, just get your banelings and move them forward. Maybe if there's any Marines over there, you can kill them. It's really cool. He's peer pressuring you into it. Like, the wind's like telling him in his booth. He's like, bring those banelings over there. You know, do it. Everyone's doing it. It's really cool. But then if you lose your banelings, it's not really cool. I'm sure the wind wasn't actually telling him to do that. The wind's pretty smart. And that Overlord stays alive. Some more drops over here, and this time it's so many units that the roaches just can't deal with it. So I like this choice. He was like, he dropped a few times. He's like, oh, you've left a few roaches over there, but do you have enough roaches to deal with like 3 dropships full of Marines? I don't think so. Well, jookTo's like, yes, I do. Look at this. Look how many roaches I have. That's enough to deal with 3 dropships full of Marines. All right, so jookTo misrally there with his Overlord should be able to save most or all of them. Barely saves that one. Trying to look at some upgrades for you guys. jookTo right now has no upgrades, whereas Ryung is at 1-1. 2-2 on the way. And actually, no Evo chambers for jookTo. So he's not going to have any upgrades, period. Like, he's just not going to get any, most likely. This game is starting to look like it's going to be ending here pretty soon. Just, you need to have more bases than your opponent does, or if you don't, you need to be doing something with your units. You need to be aggressive, and if you're just kind of sitting back and trying to macro and your opponent has more bases than you, or the same amount of bases than you, it gets pretty bad. Now he's going to split all these siege tanks up, and there are a lot of banelings. There aren't really any mutas or zerglings. He's going to try to lift some of these units and land them on top of the Marines. I don't know how well this is going to work for jookTo, though, and actually, looks like Ryung is going to bring some more of his dropships back. He was thinking about it. Oh, if he snipes his baneling nest, that'll be huge. That means no more banelings after these initial ones. Gonna try to drop these banelings on top of siege tanks. Some roaches being dropped here as well. But that's completely cleaned up. GG. Nice little last-ditch attempt there by jookTo. Not enough. And Ryung, he doesn't look as happy as I expected him to do after winning that game. But he should be happy. He's made it to the round of 8 to join his Slayers brethren. Not many Slayers players losing here at the Super Tournament. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we had a like more than any other team Slayers in the round of 4. Would not surprise me in the least. jookTo looking pretty. You know, I feel like he's content with how he went out. He played well, and you can't blame him for that. So Ryung going over to our new interview section. We're gonna have an interview with him right now.
상당히 기분이 좋겠습니다. 8강에 진출하게 된 김동원 선수가 이쪽에 위치하고 있습니다. 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
네, 지금 현재 소감 부탁드리겠습니다.
이 경기를 준비를 제일 많이 했는데 허무하게 져가지고 이길 수 있을까 걱정했는데 3경기 때 상대가 좀 올인율을 해가지고 쉽게 이길 수 있었던 것 같아요.
네. 자, 이어서 질문해 주시죠.
네, 인터뷰에서 이제 문성원 선수를
he was kind of really nervous and he was kind of questioning himself, like, can I do this? Can I win? But I'm glad he was able to pull through.
여쭤보고 싶네요.
네, 성원이 형을 맨날 만나고 싶다고 했는데 막상 만나게 되니까 되게 부담스럽고요. 그냥 만나게 뭐 연습실에서 하던 것처럼 하면 충분히 쉽게 이길 수 있을 거라고 생각해요.
충분히 쉽네.
네, 사실 코드 A 그때 경기를 했을 때부터 문성원 선수가 만나고 싶다고 했었거든요. 과연 연습
He says he's gonna meet his teammate in the next round, so he feels really pressured. But
네, 김동원 선수는 확실한
if he just
건지.
practices, he thinks he'll do well.
성원이 형이 연습 때는 저를 많이 이기는데 오늘처럼 그런 결과가 나오지 않을까 생각합니다. 동주 형이 성원이 형한테 연습 때 많이 이기는데 오늘 좀 아쉽게 져가지고.
네.
네.
연습과
He says in practice he loses to
그
MMA.
다름을 또 얘기를 해주셨습니다.
그렇습니다.
자, 마지막으로 이제 8강에 진출하게 됐습니다. 그리고 이제 많은 팬분들이 응원하고 계세요. 팬분들을 위해서 한마디 부탁드리겠습니다.
Any words for your fans?
늘 열심히 준비하는데 다음에는 T1과 하는 만큼 더 열심히 준비해서 팬분들께 좋은 모습 보여드릴 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
네, 오늘 8강 진출 축하드립니다. 네. 자, 김동원 선수를 만나봤고요. 자, 이후에 준비되어 있는 선수가
He said he's going to try his best. He wants to show his fans great game.
이어서 또
And
슬레이였어요.
he wants to practice, of course.
또 방금 굉장히
He wants to do well against his teammate. Obviously, there are a lot of, you know, when you play against your teammate, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that, like the mental preparation you have to go through. You know what your opponent might do, but he might do something completely different. So there's a lot of mind games that go into that. There's also like the honor thing. You know, you want to beat your teammate, but you don't want to beat him down. So we're going to have a 2-minute break. I'll see you guys right after that.